Thanks for your support as a channel member, Ren's Nans! I simulated a season on F1 Manager 24 with 20 of the lowest rated drivers in the game to see who could be the best of a bad bunch. We've got a mixture of male and female drivers with some exclusions. Kabir Anurag isn't included as we've done a full experiment with him before, and I've also left out a handful of the female drivers as we've had a full grid of women in one of my previous experiments. Here's our grid in full. I put the lower rated drivers in the teams that we tend to find at the front. I've also equalised the cars and engines and taken away all the team's factory facilities. I'm hoping this is the key to having equal cars, as the AI doesn't tend to upgrade facilities too much within a season. As a result, our champion should theoretically be one of the higher rated drivers, but as these are some of the lowest rated in the game, they can be wildly inconsistent. I've actually got no idea who I think will win this, so let me know in the comments who you think will be champion. We're in charge at Haas, and our drivers are Britain's Callum Voisin and Australia's Tommy Smith. I'll be playing a handful of races but simulating the majority of them. It was Aston Martin's Chloe Chambers on pole for round 1 in Bahrain. She held the lead into turn 1, but this collision with Peter Wisnicki relegated the pair to the back. It was the Haas duo who emerged at the front as the race progressed, with Australian Tommy Smith taking the win ahead of his teammate Callum Voisin. It was another Ferrari-powered 1-2 in Jeddah as Carrie Schreiner won for the prancing horse. Mercedes Tassanapol Inthrapufasak finished third as Bahrain winner Smith rose from 17th to 6th. As in Bahrain, the front row pair worked their way to the back. Abby Pulling started on the pole, but finished last. Schreiner takes the championship lead over Smith as Ferrari moved to the top of the team standings. The pole position curse struck again in Melbourne as Keen Nakamura Berta tumbled out of the points from the top spot. Williams' Maya Vogt took the win ahead of the Mercedes drivers. Schreiner held on to her championship lead with 9th, but she had started 2nd. Voisin's P4 helped Haas retake the Constructors' Championship lead. Inthrapufasak got pole in Japan, but he also went on to score nothing in the race. Bianca Bustamante took the victory for VCARB ahead of Ferrari's Ugo Ugochukwu. Championship leader Schreiner finished 5th as Kian Shields picked up a podium. Voisin's 7th place brought him to 3rd in the championship as Ferrari and Haas swapped places again. So far, only Chloe Chambers is yet to score. Matthias Zagazeta won the first sprint of the year in China before Inthrapufasak ended the pole curse. His win vaulted him to the top of the championship standings as Schreiner failed to finish. Bustamante's good form continued with 2nd, as Wisnicki's 3rd place helped Mercedes move within a point of Ferrari. Joshua Dufek took the Miami sprint win before Bustamante took her 2nd Grand Prix win of the season. Her win allowed her to rise to 2nd in the championship. Inthapufasak's 2nd place kept him at the top and took Mercedes above Ferrari as the red cars struggled. Haas dropped to 3rd despite Voisin's podium. The championship leaders struggled in Imola, Bustamante failing to finish and Inthrapufasak only 9th. Joseph Loke took the win for Alpine as Zagazeta finished 2nd, rising to 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Loke's win moved Alpine into 3rd in the Constructors, and Chloe Chambers picked up her first point of the season, meaning all 20 drivers have now scored points. Loke won again in Monaco as Bustamante edged closer to Inthrapufasak. The Britons' back-to-back victories now have him just 20 points off the championship leader. But there was controversy in Canada as this collision between Loke and Inthrapufasak cost the Brit victory. It handed the win to his Alpine teammate Noel Leon thanks to a 5-second time penalty. Despite the lost win, Loke moved into 2nd place in the championship and Alpine took the top spot in the Constructors. Championship leader Inthrapufasak clung on to top spot despite failing to score in Spain. Loke continued his run of podiums with 3rd, closing the gap at the top to just 2 points. Bustamante's 3rd win brought her just 4 points off the summit. Irishman Alexander Dunn scored his maiden podium with 2nd place. Zagazeta scored a 2nd sprint win of the year in Austria as Loke failed to score. In the Grand Prix, Carrie Schreiner returned to the top spot for Ferrari. She beat Voisin and Bustamante, who took the championship lead as a result. It was a British 1-2-3 at Silverstone as Loke picked up another win. He led home Abby Pulling Sauber and Callum Voisin in the Haas. Championship leader Bustamante came home 4th, retaining her lead at the top. Inthrapufasak had a tough day as the last finisher in 16th. We're halfway through the season now and Bustamante holds a 2-point advantage over Loke. Inthrapufasak is 3rd on 121 points and Voisin's Silverstone podium has him 4th ahead of Schreiner. So far we've had 7 different winners and 14 drivers have stood on the podium. Alpine lead the way in the team standings 41 points clear of VCARB. Mercedes had dropped to 3rd and Ferrari to 5th, with Haas in between. Red Bull, Aston Martin and McLaren have yet to reach triple digits and are the only teams yet to stand on the podium. Before we crack on with the second half of the season, make sure you come and join us in the AHGP Discord. We chat about F1, the Junior Series, football and we share our F1 Manager saves too. hit the link in the description to join us. Bustamante kicked off the second half of the season with her 4th win of the year in Budapest. Her 26 points scored gave her a healthy championship lead as the chasing pack all failed to score. The championship leader failed to score in Belgium though, as Dufek took his first Grand Prix win of the season. Inthapufasak's 3rd place and Voisin's 6th saw them close in on Bustamante. 2nd place Loke finished last. Bustamante's lead was trimmed again slightly in the Netherlands as Tommy Smith won from 19th on the grid. Loke finished 2nd ahead of the V-Carb driver as Houseman picked up a 5th place finish for McLaren. Monza saw the championship close up further as Dufek took consecutive wins. Bustamante dropped from 6th to 17th in a rain-affected race. The Filipinos lead now just 9 points. Loke finished 3rd behind Dufek and Dunn, although he did have pole position. Bustamante bounced back in Azerbaijan, albeit with P8, as Loke fell 6 places to 10th. Zagazeta took the win for Williams, his first in a Grand Prix this season. Inthapufasak's 4th place meant 29 points covered the top 3 of the championship. Bustamante strengthened her grip on top spot with a podium in Singapore, as Noel Leon took the win. Chloe Chambers took her first podium of the year as Joseph Loke only managed 7th, and Inthapufasak failed to score. Leon's win gave him a very outside shot at the title, with 6 rounds remaining. Sauber's Dunn took victory in the sprint at Texas before McLaren's Tina Houseman delivered a shock win in the Grand Prix. McLaren haven't looked like winning this season at all, so this was a huge surprise. Bustamante picked up 6 points across the weekend as nearest rival Loke drew a blank. She extended her lead a little more in Mexico despite falling from pole to 6th. Loke only managed 8th as teammate Leon won the race. Nakamura Berta got his and Red Bull's first podium of the season. Leon's momentum rolled onto Sao Paulo as he won the sprint and took Grand Prix pole, but it was Sauber's Abby Pulling who scored the Grand Prix victory in a rain-affected race as pole sitter Leon fell to 11th. Bustamante finished ahead of Loke again, meaning her championship lead was now 35 points. Pulling's win moved her into the championship's top 4. In Las Vegas, Loke took 15 points out of Bustamante's advantage. The championship leader was last of the finishers as her closest rival claimed 3rd. Yes, you have also just seen us Sauber 1-2, a result that moved them to 3rd in the Constructors. And the gap came down further in the Qatar sprint as Loke finished 2nd and Bustamante failed to score. But in the Grand Prix, the British driver finished outside the points in 14th, having started 3rd. Bustamante's P5 meant it was an overall gain across the weekend for her. Matthias Zagazeta scored his 2nd Grand Prix win of the year as the Saubers got to the podium again. Bianca's 23-point lead means Joseph must win in Abu Dhabi to be champion, and hope his rival is 9th or worse. If Bustamante is 9th, Loke needs the fastest lap point in addition to victory to overhaul her. Let's see how the finale goes down. Things look good for Loke as he qualified on the front row with teammate Leon grabbing pole. However, this game doesn't make the AIU's team orders as far as I'm aware, so Loke still needs to get the job done all on his own. Bustamante would start from 12th. Loke moved into championship winning position on lap 1 as he passed his teammate, with Bustamante also gaining a position. By lap 6 she was up to 9th, with Loke pulling out a near 3-second lead, but this mid-race spin dented Bustamante's progress. A retirement for Kari Schreiner in the Ferrari set up a dramatic finish. Loke had fallen behind Leon and Dunn but was now right on their tails. Bustamante had fallen to 13th, but mechanical troubles saw the Alpine driver fade from the lead fight as Red Bull's Nakamura Berta went on to take the win. It meant that despite finishing the race with a puncture, Bustamante was crowned champion of the world. She may have finished last, but she couldn't care less as Bianca celebrated with her team. Alpine clinched the Constructors' title thanks to having 2 cars in the top 5. Dunn and Voisin joined Nakamura Berta on the podium. Bustamante claimed the title by 13 points over Loke as Abby Pulling made it 2 female drivers in the top 3. Inthapufasak's title bid faded and only finished a point ahead of Voisin. Nicolas Lacourt was our worst driver, picking up just 26 points. Bustamante did most of the damage in the first half of the season, her 4th and final win coming in Budapest, which was round 13. Loke will be ruining that mechanical issue in Abu Dhabi. He was in such a good position to snatch the title. But looking at the points progression, Bianca is a fully deserving champion. Alpine took its first Constructors' title since 2006 in the days of Fernando Alonso and Giancarlo Fisichella, trumping Racing Bulls by 59 points. Interestingly, the teams finished in something of a reverse order to normal, but that's down to having the higher rated drivers in the teams that normally were lower down the grid. I think it's definitely worth doing this experiment again, but with development allowed. Racing Bulls were let down a bit by Kian Shields in their title fight with Alpine as he failed to win any races at all. At Haas, Voisin beat Smith despite the Aussie winning 2 races. The Brit picked up a number of podiums while Smith only visited the top 3 when he was the winner. Voisin was helped by significant growth through the year, rising from 56 to 63 rated. Sauber's Dunn started and finished as the highest rated driver, growing from 62 to 67 rated, and Bustamante became champion despite being rated as the 10th best driver. Nakamura Berta grew from our second weakest driver to the 11th strongest. We saw 13 different winners, with Champ Bustamante our most winning driver. We also had 18 drivers score podiums, with only Nicola Lacourt and Aurelia Nobles missing out. Bustamante, Loke and Pulling all stood on the rostrum 8 times, while Voisin scored 7 podiums but failed to win. The pole positions were widely spread out too, with Mercedes' Inther Rufusak, the king of a single lap, taking pole 6 times. He did only manage a single victory, however. I think this underscores the wild unpredictability of this season. If you enjoyed this video, go and give it a big thumbs up for me and subscribe for more F1 Manager experiments. My recent ones include moving Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari a year early and simulating a season with female drivers only. Next week's video will be the season with the best grid you've ever seen, as every driver will be 99 rated. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching everyone, you're the best fans. It's bye for now.